Hey, good morning, Huntsville, and welcome in. Here we go on a Yay Wednesday.
Is a Yay Wednesday?
I was trying to think of a word for today on a Yay Wednesday. Appreciate you joining us as always. Episode number 37 as we are moving right along. Got a great show, jam-packed today. We are broadcasting live. There's not a cloud in the sky today as you're waking up. We are here in our downtown studio that is sponsored by Elliott's Jewelers, and every Wednesday, Rick and Kaye Boehning joining us for the most part. I know one week y'all were gone, but from tomorrow's promised Montessori schools, good to have you in. I got that down, Kaye. So what's going on? How
You never
you guys
quit
doing?
learning. That's good.
I know NQL. That's the every day we're gonna have a new acronym. Today it's NQL. Never quit learning.
I like it.
And I want to see Rick on a T-shirt wearing some really cool shades and a gold chain that says NQL.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need that.
So we're going to make that happen today. Well, good to see you guys. Welcome in. How have y'all been? What's been going on?
Well, we went and looked at our third location yesterday, and then I heard rain last night. So
We may have the swimming pool again.
Yeah, well, it's going to be all right, man. I drove out there, and it was nice, by the way. It's right across from West Hill Mall, and it's going to be a beautiful location. And so excited. Third location opening up, and I'm going to meet with you guys after the show today, and we'll talk about, we'll put an article out there to give some folks some updates, if that sounds all right.
sounds good.
So going to be great. Memorial Day weekend, what did you guys do?
Went swimming with the grandkids.
Yeah?
Yeah, we took them swimming and they tried to drown me. Can you believe that?
I can only imagine Rick Boehning in the public swimming pool playing Marco Polo.
No, we didn't.
You didn't do that.
No, I can't spell Marco.
It was over at Elkins Lake. The pool's just opened up.
That's
Is that
where
where
we were.
where you guys were at? So
Yeah.
the Olympic pool, we went to that one. Bridget and I took Braylon, and it was awesome. You'd think that it would be really, really busy, but it actually wasn't too bad at all. And so we went in there and hung out with Braylon, and she kind of forgot, I think. Well, obviously she did. When we first took her there, she was only a few months old, and we had one of those really cool floaties with the little visor over the top. And Bridget gives her a bath every night, so she plays and splashes in the water, but in the pool, she was going nuts. And she got brave and started, you won't like this as an educator. Oh, man, I shouldn't even disclose this. She got brave standing on, the sides of the pool. I don't even know what you call that. There's got to be like an official name for that whenever you have a swimming pool and
We call that the coping.
the coping. Is that really what it's called? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
That's what it's called, like the concrete.
The little edge there.
That's the coping. See what you learn on Good Morning Huntsville? You learn the word coping. And we're not talking about like, oh, man, we're going to cope about that. No, we're talking about
I'm trying to cope right now.
Yeah, so she was standing on the coping then. That's great, man. I learn something new every day.
Never quit learning.
In QL. And she wanted out, and so we'd let her. We were really close to her, though. Mm-hmm. And then she got brave and started jumping in.
Yeah.
And that made me a little bit nervous because I'm not a big swimming guy. I really not. I don't like being in water that's over my head. It just terrifies me.
We need to get her started on swim lessons.
Yeah, so I had her down in there and had her on her back and let her float a little bit, and she was doing pretty good, but yeah, so that's a little bit of disclosure. Maybe I've disclosed it on this show through 37, 38 episodes now, but I'm not a fan of deep water. Bridget took me out in the middle of a lake one time, and she thought it was absolutely hilarious on a jet ski. And she knows that I'm scared to death of like deep water. I really am. I will not jump off of anything without a life jacket on and water over my head. I'm just terrified of it for some reason. And she took me out in a jet ski and was going nuts, and I was screaming, yelling. So imagine me like holding on to Bridget as a grown man, screaming and yelling, "Stop, stop!" And she's laughing. Oh. And I said, "This thing's gonna flip over." "No, it's not. I do it all the time." Guess what? It flipped over. Here's the rest of it. This was at Lake Creek up in the Dallas area. Here's the worst part of this story is I'm sitting there screaming as a grown man. This was like 5 years ago. So 35, 34 years old, screaming in the middle of the water. Thankfully, I had the life jacket on. And Bridget's like, "Calm down, you'll be all right." Well, the jet ski had flipped over. We're in the middle of the lake. And the most embarrassing thing happens. This pontoon boat comes up. And on the pontoon boat is an off-duty police officer. And he's smiling from like, grin to grin, whatever you want to say it is. And he picks me up in the life jacket. I have one of those vest life jackets. He picks me up like a little kid and sets me in his boat. He's like, "You all right, buddy?" So, but here's the non-funny part of that. And so my validations of being scared were correct because he had told me, he goes, brother, he's like, don't worry about being scared. He goes, 2 weeks ago, the same thing happened. A jet ski flipped over, pushed someone underwater. They were wearing a life jacket, and they passed away.
Oh, no.
And so I told Bridget, I was like, see, I told you that this isn't anything to make fun of. I mean, I was scared to death. And luckily it didn't push me under the water. But so there you go. There's a little insight to me. So if you're thinking about, man, I'd love to have Rob over for a pool party, probably not going to happen. So
We'll put you in the baby pool end.
Yeah, that baby pool at Elkins, though, it's like 1.5 feet. Man, I got to tell you, I'm just kind of, when you got like 30 little babies jumping around in a pool that's 1.5 feet, parents, I'm going to tell you straight up this morning, there is a reason that they have those little swimmers diapers. And you had better put those on your kids when you get into the pool, especially in that 1.5 foot pool at Elkins. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, we ain't getting in that pool anymore for a while. So I don't even need to go into details about that. So, hey, welcome in. I don't even know how we got on this tangent, but a lot of fun here this morning. Rick and Kaye Boehning, Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, joining us. We're also going to have Rance Huges. He's the executive director of Forest Glen Camps. Come on here in just a few moments. He's already in the house. We're excited to talk with him and learn more about Forest Glen. All the great things happening here in Huntsville, that's what we like to highlight. And we already have a lot of folks chiming in as well. Our good friend Joshua Harris from the Oak Ridge Disciple House is joining us, and I appreciate Joshua. It's cool to have friends in your life that always lift you up and encourage you. And maybe that's the motivation or the inspiration today, friends, is surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up daily. You need to be around somebody because you're going to have down days. That person's going to have down days, and we got to work together and lift each other up. I love Joshua. He's one of my best friends. We've been friends for a long time. And almost every single morning, he sends me a prayer and a devotional. And it's not one of these mass text messages, that you just click and send to everybody, because he personalizes it and then says, hey, I'm praying over you. He knows what I'm dealing with. We all have things that we deal with from day to day. And he always sends me a prayer every single morning. So, Josh, man, I love you, brother, and you don't know how much that means to me. And you know what? Maybe there's someone out there today that's been thinking about that. I've got a friend that I really need to reach out to on a daily basis. Do it. It's a quick text message.
It's a wonderful blessing.
It is. And there's times where Josh gets busy and I get busy. And so not every single morning. We may miss a morning or two. But I can tell you what, that just keeps me full and keeps me going every day, knowing that, you got someone in your corner that's always there for you and helping you through situations. So it's good to have that.
Yeah,
I
I
have
have
that.
Someone in my corner, too.
That's good.
My wife lifts me up
There
every 6 months.
I love that. See, here we go. This is another message this morning.
6 months.
You better lift each other up, especially you married couples out there, because God knows we all need to lift each other up. So, but a great show again lined up. We also want to remind you that we are giving away 4 tickets every day to the Vintage Market Days. It's happening out at the Walker County Fairgrounds Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our good friend Barb Gonzalez has blessed us with 20 tickets. We've already given away 2 sets of those to Vicki McKenzie, and then Terry received them yesterday or won them yesterday. We'll be giving those and distributing them on Thursday. But all you got to do right now, just like our good friend Jason Thompson did just a few moments ago, he already put the hashtag Hello Huntsville. He already liked the broadcast, and he already shared it. So that's all you have to do to enter to win. We'll be giving away those 4 tickets to Vintage Market Days. There was a guy that had reached out to me wanting us to broadcast a fundraiser baseball event back in the Austin area, which we would gladly do. But I don't think that they were able to procure a sponsor to do that. And so I was kind of looking forward to doing that. But then I also told Bridget, I was like, I really want to go do this to the Vintage Market Days as well. There's going to be over 100 vendors
Rick got
there.
me this at that event.
What is
many
it?
years ago.
Wow, look at this. Rick, come on, man. Rick's telling it. Here you go, man. So this was Kaye had this on, and Rick got this for Kaye.
Out there at the
Many
show.
years ago.
That's awesome.
Many, about 15 years ago, probably.
Probably about 15 years ago at the I can't say it either.
Vintage Market Days.
That's it.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Vintage Marketplace.
Many moons ago.
Yeah, several.
I was thinking the other day, and here's another wild tangent that we're going off on. My grandmother had a cuckoo clock growing up. I always loved the cuckoo clocks, the German cuckoo clocks. They were just
From the Black Forest.
Yeah, every time I see those, I think of my grandmother, my dad's mom. And so one day, Bridget and I, when we first came to Huntsville, I said, I really want to find one of those clocks. And so we had saved up a little bit, and I found one, and I bought it. And I was thinking of that thing the other day because I can never get the time right. And I think it's something to do with the weather, because it seems like whenever it's hot outside, the thing runs slower. When it's cold outside, it runs fast. I have no idea. The thing's possessed. Something's weird's going on with this cuckoo. Something's going cuckoo with this cuckoo clock. But I was thinking the other day, man, how did people back in the day like keep time? You know, I know we had sundials and all that, but you got to think about the people that came before us, how they were accurately able to keep time so well. Because I'm thinking about this cuckoo clock. What if that was my only clock? So I'm sitting here every 2 weeks syncing it back up with a digital clock. So it's like, what's the purpose of it? But it gets off. So I was thinking about that the other morning when I woke up for some reason about how can I keep that cuckoo clock on time? So there you go. I have no idea why I was thinking of that.
Replace the works with one of these.
Yeah. And just those aren't fun though, Rick. Come on, man. Again, let us know what you're thankful for this morning as we've got a great show lined up. We'll also talk about what national day of it is. We were just celebrating Memorial Day this past weekend and as always honoring those that serve our country. It's not Veterans Day, but Memorial Day as we honor those that serve, gave the ultimate sacrifice in protecting our freedoms. I know a lot of folks, there was an event out at Hearts Veterans Museum that Tara and the fine folks out there had. We're also going to have some more folks that are associated with Hearts with some other areas of nonprofits that assist them come on the show here in the next coming weeks. So we're lining those up. And maybe you know of a nonprofit that would like to be on the show. We'd love to talk to them. As always, we want to highlight all the good things that are happening here in Huntsville, Texas. So we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Our good friend Rance Huges is joining us here when we come back. Stay with us. More to come this morning on Good Morning Huntsville. We'll be right back after this. Hey, good morning, friends, and welcome back into another episode of Good Morning Huntsville or Huntsville or however you feeling like saying it this morning. Episode 37 is, as always, our show on Wednesdays made possible by our good friends Kaye and Rick Boehning of Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. We'll learn more about what they're up to here on the back end of the show. But now, without any further waiting, our good friend Rance Huges joining us this morning, the Executive Director of Forest Glen Camps. Rance, how you doing? Good to have you.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. I believe it was your wife that I've been communicating with on Facebook. And
yes.
So
she's very active on social media, so she told me about it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate her just reaching out because we're always looking, again, to highlight the great nonprofits in our community. And we thought, summer's on the way. Summer's here. It's not on the way. I mean, Memorial Day marks the unofficial start of summer. And we want to highlight camps that are going on around town. There's a lot of great opportunities for kiddos to get involved, and so that's why we wanted to have you on this morning, Rance. Before we just dig in to the meat of the camp, just wanted to hear a little bit about your story. I know you just recently moved here.
Sure did.
Came from the great Golden State and doing great work now at Forest Glen. But just tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got here, and just what led you into the position you're in.
Sure. You mentioned I was from the Golden State. I am from originally California. Worked at about 3 different camps in California, and decided to come on out here to Huntsville because there was an opening that happened. My predecessor, John David Iser, he's pretty well known, I think, in Huntsville. He just retired in January after 40 years of doing ministry at Forest Glen, and so I have taking this spot basically. So I'm the new executive director at Forest Glen, but been here since January, and so far we love it.
Great. Well, it's good to have you here in Huntsville, Texas. I got to ask you though, from California to Huntsville, how did you find out about Huntsville? How did you find out about Forest Glen?
I get that question all the time. Honestly, my name was just brought up as a potential candidate to succeed John David Iser. So I wasn't looking necessarily. It just kind of happened, and I think they hired a consultant to just ask around a few different camps to see if there were people that would be willing and would be a good fit to move over to Forest Glen. And somebody threw my name in. I don't know who, but I got a phone call, and they said, "Are you interested?" I said, "Yes, absolutely." And I interviewed, and three weeks later, ended up getting hired. So,
and that's how you got here.
That's how it
man.
happens.
So, well, I'm going to tell you this: in Huntsville, as you already know, it's all about good people.
Yeah.
And I can already tell Rance, a great man. Good to have you in our community. And when you're good to people, good things happen. And so,
yes,
I joke around because I was gone to Fargo for 8 months. And then we came back, and I joke around. I said, if people would have just been mean here, I would have never came back. But everybody was just too
We're
nice.
still working on forgiving you.
Yeah. So, but again, Rance Huges joining us this morning, Executive Director of Forest Glen Camps. Married, kiddos. Tell us a little bit about your family, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so been married for, this will be 16 years in August to my lovely wife, Estera, and we have, I like to say 5 kids, but 4 biological. And one is, he's grown up now, but we fostered him. His name is Frankie. He's our oldest. We fostered him since he was 12. He's grown up now. He's like 28. He's got 5 kids of his own. I guess I'm a grandpa now, so it's kind of weird to say, but, and then biologically we have Zamira, she's 12, Isaiah, he's 10, Eviana's 4, and then we have a 7-month-old, his name's Azariah.
Oh, man,
So,
beautiful.
got a little bit of a tribe there.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Huntsville is such a great place to raise families, and Kaye has been here for a long time, and she has Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools, and you know how important it is, just children in this community, Kaye, and how special they are.
Yeah.
So it's good to have new folks always coming in, man, and it's a place I came to only 4 or 5 years ago, and as I said, we left for 8 months and then came back, and we just fell in love with the community. So I know, Rance, great things are on the horizon for you. I know that you're a faithful servant. I already did a little check-in and just know about Forest Glen Camps as well. So give us a little bit of just kind of a rundown. How did you get into just really your servant heart, and what led you into wanting to be in this position?
I never necessarily imagined myself in Christian camping. It's one of those things where some people, make a career out of it. They just know that's what they want to do, and other people just kind of fall into it. I was one of those people that just fell into it. But I went to camp as a kid, not necessarily at Forest Glen, but at another camp in California. And,
Did they have good food, though? Because the food always draws you in.
You know what? As a kid, I did not even think about the food. I had sustenance, and that's all I needed. I just wanted to go back out and play. But yeah, the camp I did go to, they did have good food. And I just remember my counselor just speaking life into me. And I never forgot it. And that's what I love about camp is it's one of those experiences that you never forget as a kid. You keep it with you, for life. And it changed me to the point where, I ended up getting into ministry about 20 years old or so. And then found myself being called into camp ministry. I would regularly bring kids to camp that I was working with because I used to run an after school program. And so there'd be a ton of kids that I had an opportunity to witness to and just hang out with, and I just invited them to camp, and those kids fell in love with camp. And then I got a job offer one day, randomly out of nowhere. Again, it's just things happen. Somebody remembered me, and they
because you were good to them.
Because I try to be, absolutely.
I call those God incidences.
I truly believe that because, again, I just wasn't looking, but I think the Lord knew I wasn't completely satisfied with what I was doing in the moment, and so He basically, redirected my path going into camp. And they remember me because I did an interview with them one particular year, and they asked if you ever would want to come and work at camp, was that something that, you'd be interested in doing? And I said, I absolutely would. It'd be a dream for me. Fast forward 5 years later, I completely forgot about the camp. I got married. I had kids. It wasn't on my radar, but that person remembered me when the job opportunity opened up, and that's how I got into Christian camping. So a 5-minute, interview that somebody remembered me by, and so that's how I ended up kind of coming to camp.
That's great. Well, again, Rance Huges joining us. He is the Executive Director of Forest Glen Camps here in Huntsville. And, just kind of reading a little bit about who Forest Glen is. We'll kind of transition now and talk a little bit more about the camp, especially with summer here and kiddos looking for something to do. Let's say this. Kiddos are looking for something to do, but parents are looking for something to get the kiddos out of the house. Forest Glen, and just reading this verbatim here from the website, exists to provide an environment where people can encounter God. Forest Glen, a nonprofit independent camp and retreat center, the Huntsville location, just an hour, of course, north of Houston, and since 1974 served thousands of kids and student ministries, churches, conferences, school groups of all ages. Just tell us a little bit more about Forest Glen. Give us a background, kind of how it started and what you guys offer.
Yeah, so Forest Glen has been fully operational in 1974. It originally started as a camp called Camp Good News, and they were kind of located in the Springs area, greater Houston area over there. And this camp, they service kids, but they were just growing way too big and they needed their own place. And so in about 1971, there was some Christian businessmen that was looking for land for Camp Good News, as well as some other organizations, and they ended up securing a spot in our beautiful Sam Houston Forest. And so we now own 280 acres in Sam Houston Forest, and it's all Forest Glen. But since then, in 1974, the name Forest Glen kind of came about, and it's just been exponentially growing every single year. It started out really rustic, in the forest, and there weren't buildings. There was just a little lake and a poorly constructed dam, and they just kind of called volunteers, and people loved the mission and the ministry. So we had a ton of volunteers come, and they started volunteering to help construct buildings, and they created a town hall and little cluster cabins, and this was before they really had, adequate bathrooms. They were showering, under a tree with a pipe and a water drainage, and that's kind of how it started.
I still do that, man. No,
Kids love it though, right? And since then we've just been growing and growing and growing, and it's just been exponential. I think it's because we've been faithful to God's calling, and so He's been faithful to us, and it's just been growing as a result of that. So now we're 280 acres, and we serve over 40,000 people per year, and that's growing. We have about 650 beds compared to where we started off. Now we're even bigger than what we were, and but it's just an amazing place. It's in the backyard of Huntsville. Sometimes people don't even realize it's there. But we have our own little nook back there, and it's really, really beautiful. So
yeah, that's why we wanted to have you on today, because there is so many incredible things in Huntsville. Forest Glen Camps is one of those. Again, Rance Huges joining us, the executive director. Now, you said 40,000 people come through this a year. Is there multiple locations, or is it just here in Huntsville?
So we used to have multiple locations. We actually just sold one of our properties called a Springs Camp, and now we're just centralized here in Huntsville.
Awesome. Well, you think about that, and I'm on our city's tourism board, and I think a lot about just bringing people into the community. And when you talk about 40,000 people a year coming through the camp, that's an unbelievable number, because you think about just the impact and the economic impact that has on the community as well. I don't think a lot of people realize that. We know about our major employers with Sam Houston State University and TDCJ, but then you have organizations such as Forest Glen that are also bringing in folks as well. For kiddos out there, tell us about just some of the offerings, some of the camps. Maybe there's a parent this morning saying, I want to get my kid out of the house, and I want him to go to a good camp where he's going to learn, or he or she's going to learn something. What are some of the offerings that Forest Glen has?
Sure. So currently, camp has already started. Our summer season has just begun. We do have about 8 to 10 weeks of day camp. And so for kindergarten all the way to 6th grade, we offer programs, and it's day camp. And the beautiful thing about it is that we actually go and pick up your kiddos at a location, either in Woodlands, Conroe, or Huntsville, and we transport them to camp by bus. And we take them back at the end of the day. So, but while kids are at camp, they get to experience what camp life is like. And we have, of course, a lake, and there's blobs there where kids could do lake activities. We have paddle boarding, canoeing. They do archery, zip line, they throw tomahawks, they learn essential skills. We do a chapel time where we do a devotional with the kids, but they get a little bit of everything just in terms of what camp looks like. And we offer them snacks and lunch and things like that. And then we do fun camp songs on the way back home on the bus. So it's pretty awesome, and there's still room for your kids to go ahead and register. So plenty of space for that, and
Awesome. Yeah, we're looking at the website right now. Again, Rance Huges here with us, the executive director at Forest Glen Camps. You can go online, by the way, at forestglen.org. It's forestglen.org, and you can find out more information. I think it's so great. I'm looking here. So it's not really an overnight camp. These are day camps. Is that correct, or do you have overnight camps?
We currently are working on producing overnight camps. That's one of the reasons I got brought on, just to expand our program camps to junior high and high school, so forth. But year round, we have people that come from churches all over the greater Houston area, and they come and do retreats there. So part of what we do is day camp. Another thing that we do is retreats, and that's pretty big. A lot of churches just come and produce their own retreats. They just use our facility, and we'll host them, we'll feed them. And yeah, so we do lots of different programmings. We do have family camp, which usually takes place in the spring and in the fall. We have outdoor education for our schools. They can come here and you learn about nature at Forest Glen, and it follows really closely along with the school's curriculum. We have a lot of different things going on throughout the year, but specifically for the summer, one of the highlights is day camp, and then we do a lot of retreats for church groups that come to camp.
That's great.
Yeah, they're really a good organization. They did a special for us a few years back, and we went out there with our elementary students during the school year. So they have things they'll work up and packages they'll do for you. And
Rance,
work
I
with you.
gotta figure out how to come out here, Rance. You know, I think it looks like a fun time, and I saw there, $275 a week, and you're bringing these kids into a great environment where they're learning some life lessons. They're also learning just how to connect in their relationship with the Lord a little bit deeper, which I think is great. And you look at that too. Price-wise, is there any scholarships, or maybe is there someone out there that could say, hey, I want to donate to help some kids get to camp? Do you have anything like that going on?
Absolutely. So we never want camp to be something that is not accessible to people. And so we do have scholarships available for anybody that needs it. If anybody's interested in donating, you're more than welcome to donate to Forest Glen. We have a special scholarship fund that goes into bringing kids to camp and just experiencing everything I just talked about. So we do have scholarships. We do have a donation fund that kind of goes with that. And we just want kids to come to camp just because it changes lives. And I'm here as a byproduct of that. So I could testify that it's real. And it's one of those things that you just never forget.
Rance, I think it's incredible what you guys are doing. It's one reason I wanted to have you on, just to learn so much about these camps that are right here in our backyard. Another wonderful opportunity for kids to get involved and just to have something to do in the summer that's life-changing. There's also, I believe, retreats and family camps. Can you talk a little bit more about those? Yeah,
so we do have our family camps. Like I said, it takes place in spring and also in the fall. We're trying to, create more as well, but they're open to anybody that wants to come. You can bring your family. It's a great opportunity to just connect with your family, because in this culture of business and working, it's really difficult to have that intentional time with your family. So when you come to our family camps, a lot of it just caters to you connecting with your family. And you do all the fun activities and things like that, but we build some space where you could actually do some intentional things with your family that could help develop and grow you. And you could take those memories back, home, and you'll remember them for life. So, yeah, so that's a little bit of the family retreats that we have. Again, we do devotionals and chapels there too, just to kind of bring it all in. There's a little bit of worship there too as well. So it's a real full functioning program.
Awesome.
And
if there's an organization out there, do you guys accept organizations? Maybe somebody would want to come out and see the facility, or kind of maybe a corporate setting. Do you guys offer a facility for that, or is it more just for camps?
We ironically get lots of different people that come.
Yeah.
Mostly churches that come, and then some schools, public schools, Christian schools. We do some leadership retreats as well. Lots of schools like to come, for example, and we'll put on a leadership retreat, or they'll come and use our facility to do their own leadership retreat. But it's mostly churches, and then smaller, corporate groups that might come and they just need a space, to do their meetings and things like that. We do have day use as well, so you can come on out and use our facility for the day. You don't necessarily have to spend the night or anything like that, but we always love when you stay, so feel free to do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Kaye.
I think something that some people don't realize that's a very valuable service that you do, is there are children that have never touched grass. When you talk about children in Houston and some of these cities and stuff, they've never seen or touched grass. And so you take some of these children out of the city and you take them to an experience like this, and it is so eye-opening and awe-inspiring that they actually get to do something that is with nature.
Yeah.
You know, Rance, I was thinking last night, and that kind of goes in line. In a way, I was just sitting there, man, and I was on my phone, and I was like, man, there's so much noise in our life with these devices and just things being around. I'm not saying it in a negative way, but there really is. And I think sometimes I put my phone down last night. This just came over me. I put my phone down, and I had the lights kind of turned off, and I just took a deep breath, and I said, you know what, I'm going to cancel out all the noise and just stand in awe of everything that God's created around me. And it was last night. I was sitting on the back porch, and I was looking up. And Huntsville's still a place that's still far enough away from the big city where even in our neighborhood, you can see the stars at night. Yeah. And I was looking up at the stars while I was sitting on my back porch, and I was like, you know, man, just cancel out all the noise. And Kaye's right. There are kids out there. I never even thought about that.
You've met some, haven't you?
Yeah, we hear this all the time. People haven't seen trees like this before, and or they haven't seen the stars, especially if you come from, the bigger cities where there's a lot of light pollution, there's a lot of traffic and noise. Out here in the sticks, it's you and God, and so you hear the wildlife, you hear the animals, you hear nature in its raw form, and it's beautiful. But yeah, that's a great point that you bring up, because not a lot of people, like you said, have just touched grass or even seen tall trees before, or even seen the stars for that matter. So
yeah, it's really awesome. And when Kaye was saying that, Rance, I was thinking, I mentioned my little girl who's 18 months old now. Her name's Braylon, and while we were in Fargo, there was snow all the time. And it's a beautiful area. Don't get me wrong, a lot of great folks. In fact, there's a lady, Jerica, joining us this morning. She joins us every single day from up in Fargo on the show here. But Braylon, in those first few months, they remember some things, but she doesn't remember our yard, even though we had her in our yard. And so when we brought her back, and we came back, 2-3 months ago, she went nuts in the front yard. And I guess it was just from books that we've been reading to her, because I would point and say, what's that? And she'd say grass, and she never saw it. She saw snow. She knew snow. Mm-hmm. And so we put her in the front yard. I mean, literally that first day we were back at our house. And she's going nuts, rolling around, and she goes, grass, grass, and she was just going nuts over it. It was cool to see that.
Simple things.
Yeah, so that's just what it is. Forest Glen, going to connect you with nature, more importantly, going to connect these kiddos with their creator. I think it's great, the resources that you have to offer. Rance, before we let you go, I do have to ask you, what does a day-to-day kind of look like for you as the executive director?
I'm trying to figure that out.
I think that's every
Give me
ED.
5, that's me too.
Yeah, I think that's every executive director everywhere.
Yeah, my job is to serve everybody else. And so, yes, I'm executive director, but I tell the staff all the time, I'm here to support you, to make sure you have everything you need to, succeed and do your job well and things like that. So I spend a lot of time just checking in with staff. I spend a lot of time just pouring into the staff and developing them. There's a lot of prayers, some meetings, lots of meetings. I realize the higher you go in any organization, the more meetings you're in. And so there's a little bit of that. A lot of time I spend just networking, either with people in Huntsville or other, camp directors, just trying to figure out best practices and staying ahead of the curve of any major cultural shifts that are happening. I spend time just thinking about the vision, where do we want to be 20, 30, 40 years from now, and how do we set a plan to get there? So a lot of it is strategic planning and vision casting and things like that. But I've been here for 5 months, so most of my time has just been going into getting to know the staff, getting to know the good people of Huntsville. We love it out here, by the way. Huntsville is awesome. I love me some HEB, which
because here everything's better.
Everything, yeah, absolutely. So, but so my family's just been growing, and we've honestly just on our days off, we just go and try to explore as much as possible, just the greater area, and trying new different things, exposing our kids to different things out here in Huntsville. Took our kids to the rodeo a couple months ago back here in Walker County. That was awesome. So. Yeah, but we're enjoying it. We love it. And that's a little bit of kind of how I spend my time here at Forest Glen.
Awesome. Well, what a pleasure today and a blessing getting to know you, Rance. And again, appreciate your wife reaching out to us and just saying, hey, you need to get on this show. And so we appreciate you being here and just sharing the news of Forest Glen. I'm going to tell you, folks, if you see a Subaru with a California plate on, be nice, okay? Just like that F-150 blue truck with North Dakota plates, be nice. People are nice. I'm just giving them a hard time. So
We're changing it.
yeah, so we're working on it and taking care of it. Rance, I know we've covered a lot. Anything else that you wanted to make sure that we add in before we let you go?
Yeah, so we are in the middle of our summer, or just beginning actually, and we always love, staff. It takes a lot of staff in order to just run a big production called camp. And I'm not sure that everybody in Huntsville knows that we're hiring, but we are. So we have full-time positions. We have part-time and seasonal positions, a little bit something for everybody. We need people to run activities like all the fun stuff I just mentioned, zip lining and teaching kids how to do archery. All those activities, we need folks to kind of help facilitate that. We need lifeguards, people who work in the kitchen, just food service. We have some full-time positions there available. But I just want to let people know that we're hiring and it's a wonderful place to work at. 2022, we did receive an award for Best Christian Workplace by the
great,
Christian Camp and Conference Association, 3CA. And that's a little bit of a badge of honor. I'd like to think that we're proud of just to be named as a really, really awesome place to work at, and to get an award for that. That speaks volumes, I think. So, so we're telling people to come in, put in an application if they're interested in being a part of the mission and being a part of the ministry.
There you go. Well, you can find out more information online, again, at their website, and I'll show it up on the screen. For those of you on the audio-only podcast listening later, it's super simple. Just go to forestglen.org. That's one R and one N in that, FORESTGLEN.org. Rance, again, man, what a blessing just getting to know you, and I'm sure we'll see you more around the community. And again, welcome to Huntsville. Everybody here just welcomes you with open arms. Huntsville is one of these places, and I've mentioned it on the show several times, that it's okay to hug somebody and tell them you love them. And that's what I love about this community. So welcome in, man. We already love you, and we're glad you're here, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Once again, as Rance Huges, you can find out more information about Forest Glen on their website. We'll step aside, take a break. We got a lot more to go here on the show, including what is the most misspelled words for each state. Now, we're not going to go through all 50 because we'd be here all day, but maybe we'll highlight some of the words in states that maybe people in Texas don't know how to spell, or Nevada. We'll talk about those and more when we come back here on Good Morning. Rick is looking at me like, oh, okay, we'll figure that one out. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. It's Good Morning Huntsville. Hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome. Always, I just thought about this because I always edit the
no.
audio of every show. And every time we come back from a segment, I always go, hey, welcome back in. I want to change. You know, it's those
I like
things
it.
you pick up on. It's like our good friend picked up on me saying, welcome, friends. John Volkmer, he brought me a gift that I shared on the show one day. In fact, we were in the middle of the show, and he brought it. He made this really cool little decoration that says, welcome, friends. And while we were on the show, I said, hey, come in here. And he actually walked in behind us and showed it to us. So it's all those little things that you do every day that you don't realize.
Well, I got you a gift, but it's not been wrapped yet, so you'll have to wait till next week.
Whenever you bring it, will you say a wrap as we unwrap it?
I will.
Awesome. That's all.
And that's a wrap.
That's all I was looking for, Rick. So, hey, everybody, welcome back in. Great show this morning. What a great man. It was so awesome. We always have such great guests here, and I say that just to promote them. And man, Rance was awesome. I really enjoyed hearing more about the story of Forest Glen. You know, all of these resources right here in our backyard that I'm not even familiar with, and I guarantee that a lot of new folks moving into town aren't. That's why we wanted to highlight them.
We've been out there, and it was a very nice facility.
It is.
I want to check out the zip lining. I mean, I didn't even realize we had zip lines here in Huntsville.
I think it's like 3 stories high, isn't it? Goes
Yeah.
out across the lake.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever did any of that zip lining?
Yeah, we
we
were
did.
out there. We ziplined at Forest Glen.
We-
It has been
We-
several years ago.
There's one at Lake Travis in Austin that's really awesome because you literally go over the lake at one point, and it's really cool. When Bridget and I went on a cruise, we did one, I believe it was in Honduras. And after doing the one at Lake Travis, I realized how much of the safety mechanisms they put into place. The one in Honduras, I'm like, is there supposed to be 2 instead of 1? No problem. I was like, well, there would be a major problem if this thing snaps and, you know, you got a 200 and almost 40-pound heavyweight, wannabe heavyweight boxing champion. Myself, I'm not really a, boxing champion, wannabe. Getting on that zip line, I'm afraid that thing may break, man. And it did. I got on, and it's like this. It's bouncing, man. It's a trampoline zip line. They invented something new there.
Really?
So, yeah, it's called the adrenaline rush. Will it break or not? That's the question. You got to sign papers whenever you get on that zip line. Well, once again, welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us. A lot of folks were chiming in earlier. Melissa Barham, good to see you. She said, what a great resource here in Huntsville. I like what Phyllis Rogers said also. She said, thankful for places where people can experience camp activities in the beautiful setting of the National Forest while immersing themselves in the Word of God. That is so great, Phyllis, and awesome to hear that. Joshua Harris was sending a message earlier saying, awesome, bless this retreat center. And then also Caitlin was chiming in saying good morning to us and have a great day. So appreciate that, Caitlin. Many more also joining us. Rick Boehning over there while he was waiting saying hello, Huntsville. Our good friend Stephanie Pitts at Advantage Specialties. By the way, Stephanie, happy belated 39th birthday. She's 39 and holding. I was joking around with her yesterday on social media. I just turned 39 in April. I said, Stephanie, you finally caught up to me. So congratulations and happy belated birthday, Stephanie. Good to hear from you. Also, our good friend Sally Hosey saying good morning, Huntsville. Have a great day. Many others chiming in as well throughout the social media streams. It's always so much fun. I really enjoy it. It's kind of like Christmas when you see little messages pop up, and we love to acknowledge people and let them know that we appreciate them watching the show. You know, speaking of the show, we wouldn't be able to make it possible without our friends such as Rick and Kaye Boehning from Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. When is enrollment open for you guys? You know, is it kind of any time, or how does the enrollment process work at Tomorrow's Promise?
Well, there's a few classes that are full, but basically, for example, if you're expecting, we recommend you come in and take a tour and then pay a $200 deposit, and we will hold the spot for whenever the baby's expected to come. Because sometimes they come early, sometimes they come late, so you're not going to know the exact day. We are taking enrollment for fall. We're taking enrollment right now. We just started field trips today. Today's the first field trip. We're going to the zoo.
Oh, awesome.
And Lufkin Zoo. And we are full in our summer program. We have, I think, 84 children that we're taking on field trips 4 times a week. So.
Do you get to go on those, Rick? If I was involved,
sir.
I would go on the field trips every time.
She has a story about the first time I went on a field trip.
Is this a good story?
Not for me.
Can we hear the story? Now that you've opened up that can we hear the story?
So we went to Splashtown, and he did not wear swim shoes.
What were you wearing?
His feet. And he used to be a lifeguard.
50 years
And-
and 100 pounds ago.
He saw one of the children come down the slide, and the tube popped out, and the child went under. And he decided to leap the rail and jump in the water to go save the child, and caught his foot on the rail. Child was fine. Child bopped up, and
Did your foot get left on the rail?
I broke my toe jumping the rail.
Man.
And we had just gotten married, and he's always joking, and he's always, you never know when he's serious, and he's whining and complaining about he broke his toe and everything, and I'm like, yeah, right. And so
It's in there. It's a blue and black. Yeah,
we
right. You
get
didn't
home
break
that
it.
evening. He's got blisters on both feet and a broken toe. So I felt really, really bad, and like a really bad newlywed wife, because I was making fun of him all day long about being a wimp.
I'm walking very gingerly. I got blisters from the hot concrete.
Yeah, if it was joking, it would only be, okay, for probably the first 5 minutes. But I mean, if he's he's not going to joke all day about this
He
broken
does.
toe.
No, he does.
Poor Rick, man. Did everything grow back okay? I mean, did
Oh,
it
yeah,
go
yeah.
crooked? Are we okay?
No, everything's fine.
All right, well,
I
there
can
you
still
go.
walk.
There's some of your little behind-the-scenes story that we're bringing you here from Rick Boehning, a new segment here on Good Morning Huntsville. So,
My lifeguard years.
yeah. Well, again, everyone, let us know that you're out there. We'd love to hear from you this morning. Send those comments in. Let us know what you're thankful for today. Also, if you like this broadcast, put a hashtag in there. Comment with the hashtag, hello, Good Morning Huntsville, whatever you'd like to say, and then share this broadcast. You will automatically be entered to win 4 tickets to the Vintage Market Days coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Over 100 vendors will be out at the fairgrounds, and it will be a lot of fun. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. As promised, what words are states misspelling? That is coming up when we come back on Good Morning Huntsville. So get ready, and we'll see what words people can't spell. Good morning. Welcome back in. I didn't say hey this time. I caught myself. Good morning, Huntsville. Welcome back in on a Wednesday. Always a lot of fun here with Rick and Kaye Boehning of Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun during those little commercial breaks too. Those little kind of sit back and relax. We were sitting here singing. There's an old country song. People, loving people. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics.
I don't even know that song.
Yeah, it was a good song.
I
I'm
would
an old
like
guy.
to add, he's been on other field trips that were very uneventful.
Yes.
Uneventful.
Back in my younger days when I could actually keep up with the kids.
I miss field trips whenever, you bring the sack lunch. I think I'd mentioned this a couple weeks ago. And for some reason, my parents would always wrap the can of soda in foil. And I was like, does that really do anything? It was for insulation, but I don't know if it actually worked. So I was the kid pulling out the soda can in foil, which was fun. I always enjoyed that. I always
Was it
have
still cold?
Yeah, it was cold. So I guess it worked. So boom, Yeti. How about that? Instead of spending $50 on a cup, you can spend 10 cents on foil. Boom, done. Just busted your product.
Do you want to go on field trip?
I would love to go on a field trip sometime. That'd
There's
be
a person to talk to, right?
That'd be
there.
fun. Do y'all ever have? I know you go through very rigorous background checks and stuff too, and I'd pass all that. You don't worry, But do you ever have volunteers that go on these field
Have
trips?
parent volunteers.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
When your child wants to go on a field trip, you go with them.
Oh, that's great. See, I'll have to get with y'all sometime. It'd be a lot of fun. Again, Rick and Kaye here, Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and we'll chat in a little bit. Kay's got her Wednesday wisdom coming up here. Wednesday wisdom coming up here on Good Morning Huntsville. But here, how about this? This is the most commonly misspelled words in the U.S. by state. All right, by state. And the Washington State, ignorance is the number one misspelled word in Washington State. This is all based on Google searches, by the way. Oregon, I have no idea. Height.
Height.
Heighth. I'm a good speller. California, exceed.
Okay.
That's the most commonly misspelled word. Nevada, is it Nevada or Nevada?
I say Nevada.
I say Nevada too.
But I'm from Texas.
I say Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada. Hey there. Hey, Charlie. From Nevada. From Oklahoma, Charlie.
So what's the most misspelled word, Texas?
We'll get to that one. Nevada is promise.
Tomorrow's promise.
Yeah, they would. How do you miss? I don't know. I guess I'm a good speller. Idaho, accidentally. I guess that one's kind of hard. It's got 2 C's and 2 L's. Montana's experience. Wyoming, number one misspelled word, probably because they don't have a lot of them. Address. There's not a lot of addresses up there in Wyoming. Utah, outrageous.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous. Arizona, where did this come from? Who in Arizona is searching for the word playwright? Is there like a lot of theaters in Arizona?
Maybe that's where William Shakespeare retired to.
Well, obviously, yeah, Arizona learned how to spell playwright. Colorado, extreme. You would think that people in Colorado know how to, because it's a pretty extreme place to
Got
be.
some extreme mountains.
Well, doing extreme sports, maybe looking that up.
Maybe
Can't spell
so.
it.
New Mexico, have no idea why this one's the most misspelled. Parliament.
Have you ever been to New Mexico?
No. Well, I've driven through like a corner of it, but I haven't. Parliament. What I mean, are they searching? Are they interested in what's happening in the UK? Oh, let's see what's going on in the Parliament today in New Mexico. I don't even know why I said that. North Dakota, occasion. That kind of makes sense. You know, it's winter. You got to put on your winter jacket. The occasion, maybe not. I don't know where I'm going with that. South Dakota, foreign. That's the most misspelled. Nebraska, reference. I thought it may be corn. It was not. It was. Kansas is maintenance. Well, boy, we got to get out there and do some maintenance on that water tower. I can understand that one. Oklahoma, writing. Writing is the most misspelled word.
Well, that's because it's one of the 3 R's.
Reading, and arithmetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they spell it without the W.
But arithmetic starts with an A, right?
Yeah.
So why do they say
with a W?
So why do they say the 3 R's?
Because they sound like ours.
Well, and writing is a W. Whoever thought of that needs to go back to school. They need to go to Tomorrow's Promise. Texas, here we go. What do you think the most misspelled word in Texas is?
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
You are 100% wrong, according to this guide. Similar. Well, my brother's similar to my cousin. Similar. Minnesota is becoming. I guess we will just go through some of these. Iowa is neighbor. Missouri is height. So there's height again. That's the second time. Arkansas, column. Column. Would never understand that one.
It is a little difficult.
I thought it would be Bill Clinton. I thought it'd be Clinton. You know, it was not as column.
That was in the paper so much that they know how to spell Clinton.
Yeah. Louisiana, Colonel. That one makes no sense. Yeah. Wisconsin, foreign. Iowa.
Where did KFC start from?
No idea.
So it was in Kentucky.
Probably so. But yeah, that's it. Wisconsin, foreign. Iowa, neighbor.
Really?
Neighbor. I don't know how to. Hey, I don't talk to you, and I don't know how to spell you either. Illinois, neighbor. Indiana, acknowledge. Acquaintance is Michigan. Kentucky is maintenance again. Tennessee, parliament. That's kind of weird. See, these are weird that some of these. Ohio, medieval. Medieval is the most misspelled word in Ohio. Mississippi, ignorance. That's Alabama, original.
Can you say oxymoron?
Georgia, secretary. Florida, jewelry. North and South Carolina, promise. Virginia, controversy. A lot of controversy going on there in Virginia. West Virginia, upholstery. Well, Grandpappy just didn't do a good job covering that couch. That upholstery was terrible. Pennsylvania, willful. District of Columbia, conscious. That's because no one in our government is conscious, so they always have a very hard time spelling that one.
Gotta look at that. I was conscious during this meeting.
Yeah, Maryland, 12th. 12th. What are they, like the 12th state admitted to the Union? I don't know. Delaware is foreign. New Jersey, advisable. Connecticut, jewelry. Rhode Island, guidance. Massachusetts, also becoming. New York, also upholstery. That's kind of weird. I wouldn't think of people in New York upholsterizing. Vermont, definitely. New Hampshire, amateur. Bunch of amateurs in New Hampshire. And then Maine is almost. So there you go. That is the 350. It started with a list of 350, and then they used Google. There are your information that nobody cares about this morning. A little bit of a fun
I thought
segment.
it was amusing.
A little bit of a fun segment.
AMUSING.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Don't be very careful as a representative of Tomorrow's Promise, Rick, if you're spelling and you misspell on the
I'm
show.
a great speller.
Yeah, great speller. Speaking of which, we move on to our next segment. Kaye, what do you have for us today? You're always bringing us so much insightful thoughts on Wednesday Wisdoms. And what do you got for us today?
I want to challenge you to quit using the word okay at the end of sentences.
Okay.
That was
So-
not the end. That was the beginning.
Like, Braylon, put your car seat on, or buckle yourself up in the car seat, okay? You've just implied that you're giving her a choice, and it's not a choice as to whether she's going to wear her seatbelt or not.
Because okay is kind of like a question mark, right? Okay.
And so when you tell a child to do something and then you follow it with okay, you're implying a choice. And usually the parent or teacher is not implying that there's a choice there. They're wanting them to comply. You know, you can follow up with, do you understand, or did you understand me? But when you say, okay, put your seatbelt on, okay, then there's that implied choice. And when you don't give that choice, now you've lied to your child. And so you want your child to trust you, but when you keep giving them choices that aren't really choices, then you're lying to them.
It's kind of like an open-ended question in a way, you know. And I think I was telling you earlier when we were discussing this that one of my biggest pet peeves is when when people are in a sales presentation and they'll say right or okay. And I do it too. I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I'm just saying I pick up on it and I try not to do it right. Okay. And that's really good. So it's better to say, you made a good point, because it's better to say, hey, Braylon, put on your seatbelt. She's ignoring me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I like that. Because to me, it feels like it has more authority and carries much more weight, and it's giving the child kind of a yes or no. It's not an either or whatever. It's like yes or no question.
Yeah. And when you say, do you understand, their answer implies back, I didn't hear you. No, I don't want to. Or, okay, I just haven't gotten around to it. I mean, how they answer back gives you knowledge as to how to proceed for the next step.
All right, help me as a parent. You're the kid. All right, Kaye. Kaye, put on your seatbelt. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Why didn't you do it faster? I told you. I'm just kidding. I was hoping.
Wait till I tell your mother.
I was hoping that you would say, no, I'm not going to do it, Dad. And then I got to figure out how I'm going to counteract that. What would I say, though, if my child said, no, I'm not going to do that? What is the best way to handle that situation?
Every parent does something different. Pretty much, we can't go anywhere until your seatbelt's on. That's a law. We have to follow the laws. And it's not my choice. There's a law to keep you safe, and my job as a parent is to keep you safe, so we cannot go anywhere until you put your seatbelt on.
Great response. And if they continue to kick and scream, I'll make sure the car is cool. I'll say, all right, see you later, and I'll just go inside. I don't know if that would be good advice.
Yeah, I
don't take my advice. Take Kaye's advice.
I would not do that, Rob.
Yeah, I will not do that. Don't worry.
That would probably end up with the police being at your door for leaving an unoccupied child in a car during.
Occupied job?
Yeah, it would not be good.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's your Wednesday wisdom. Okay? That's what it is. Don't end
Right.
the sentences with okay when you talk to your kiddos. Friends, again, thanks for joining us and being a part of the show here today. We do have a couple of more very quick things as we're winding down here a little bit after 8 o'clock. If you're supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, you're fired, by the way. It's 8:02. Today is the National Day of a few things. It is National Smile Day. Smile, everybody. Smiling is important. You know, I'll be honest. When I was younger, and nothing on my parent, my mom felt so bad about it. I said, Mom, don't feel bad about this, because I knew financially it would have been tough for us. But I had really crooked teeth. They were crookeder than the most crooked senator that you've ever heard of. And when I'd eat a sandwich, instead of it looking like a crescent moon, it looked like Jaws took a bite out of that sandwich, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'll be honest. I finally got braces when I was in my early 20s, and my confidence went through the roof because I would never smile. People would always ask, like, why don't you smile? And I do these, smile with, but I would just never wanted to smile. And so I know that that's something that affects a lot of people, and just I wanted to say it because I was in your boat. If you're that person that's just with teeth and everything, and I know that can be a hard thing, but if you
I was
have
there too because she's always telling me smile, and I learned to smile without showing your teeth.
yeah. So, you know what? Smile today. It really does make a difference. It's also national. This is something important for me. It's National Senior Health and Fitness Day today. So today, Senior Health and Fitness. I saw American Ninja Warrior the other night on TV. There's a grandma that's 74 years old that was out running.
Wow.
I'm sitting here at 39 and, tingling in my hands and out of breath all the time. And I was like, man, this is making me feel terrible. But it is National Senior Health and Fitness Day. Put on your sneakers today. On the last Wednesday in May, approximately 100,000 senior adults will participate in activities across the United States for this national observance. And so National Senior Health and Fitness Day today. Also, a very important one is No Tobacco Day today. So today is World No Tobacco Day. It's observed every year on May the 31st. It's intended to encourage 24 hours of abstinence from all forms of tobacco consumption around the globe. This day is further expected to draw attention to the widespread prevalence of tobacco use and the adverse health effects. It's weird, and again, I'm not judging anybody, folks, because we all have, our things that we deal with. But it feels so weird now when you see people smoking. Like, I feel like when I was younger, I feel like it was this huge thing that everybody smoked. Literally, I felt like everybody that I was around smoked. And as I've gotten older, you don't see it too much anymore. A lot of that's because cities ban it. They don't want public smoking. I remember going to Luby's as a kid, and there was the smoking section. There was always this haze, this cloudy haze back over there. And I grew up in a VFW hall, so I was used to it, And the greatest thing they ever did at our local VFW was they installed one of those air purifiers because it had gotten so bad. You could take your fingernail and, scrape it off the wall.
Yeah.
Well, we lost our son to oral cancer from chewing.
Oh, man.
Dip.
Yeah. So it is, it is a very tough and very serious thing. So today, No Tobacco Day today. And if you're struggling with that, look, it's an addiction. I get it. And just really reach out and latch on to somebody that can help you with that, because there are things in life that we struggle with. I'm not knocking anybody that does those things. But again, try to find somebody that can help you through it. It's also this is good, National Speak in Complete Sentences Day.
Oh, I've already messed that up.
Nope. Gonna do it not.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. National Complete Sentences Day. We want to encourage you to enunciate and speak complete sentences on this day. I thought this said National Flip Out Day, and I was like, awesome, that's my kind of day. It's actually National Flip Flop Day today, National Utah Day. Ooh, Utah, you get your own day. Go you. And I'm just kidding. I love you, Utah. Also, National Autonomous Vehicle Day. So this is the day that we honor
Self-driving vehicles?
Self-driving. So there you go.
They can drive themselves to their own parade.
That's right. And it's also World Parrot Day today. So if you have a parrot, make sure that you honor your parrot today on World Parrot Day. Been a lot of fun on this one today. We do have those tickets to give away, by the way, and they will go this morning to Mr. Jason Thompson. So, Jason, you are the winner today of those 4 tickets to Vintage Market Day. So I know you and Deneen will enjoy that, and you can take the family again. Jason Thompson, our winner today. We'll have those ready for pickup sometime tomorrow. Been a lot of fun today, guys. Thank y'all for being here.
Rob, it's always a pleasure.
I love that, man. I just taught Braylon the fist bump too, and it's so cute because she doesn't make a fist. She actually she curves her hand like this. It's like a curve. She doesn't make a full-on fist. And I told her, I said, pound it, and she goes, pound. So she was walking all around the house today going, pound, pound, pound. So there you go. The little kiddos learn. Hey, friends, we love you. It's such an honor and a privilege to bring you this show every single morning. Make sure that you stay up with us on HelloHuntsvilleTX.com for the latest updates and what's coming soon to Huntsville. Also, our Hometown Heroes will launch this coming up month here in June, so stay tuned for that, where you can nominate a hero. We're also working on Rays of Hope. It is our summer fundraising drive. There's a lot of things in the back works that we are doing here to continue to promote the good in our community. As we end every single broadcast, I want to remind you today that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other, friends. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Have a wonderful day. Somebody out there needs you. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow, join us. Justin Killingsworth, the Color Bar, is our Thursday co-host. We'll be back at it again bright and early. Until next time, good morning and God bless. We'll see you later. And thank you, Rick and Kaye, for being here for tomorrow's
It
promise.
was our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.